Yo, hold up. Before you absolutely roast me in the comments, hear me out. Bruce Lee wasn't actually a martial artist. I know. The audacity, right? The dude who literally is Kung Fu in most people's minds. Plot twist that'll break your brain. He absolutely hated traditional martial arts, called them organized despair. Imagine hating the thing you're famous for. That's some next level irony right there. Here's the tea nobody talks about. Bruce Lee was basically a philosopher who just happened to be cracked at kicking people's faces off. While every other fighter was out here bowing to ancient traditions like NPCs following their programming, my man Bruce was reading Nietzsche and Krishnamurti. Bro had over 2,500 books in his personal library. That's not your typical punch first, ask questions later energy. This guy was collecting knowledge like Pokemon cards. But wait, it gets spicier. Bruce didn't even learn martial arts the way you think he did. At 13, he walked into Wing Chun master Ip Man's school in Hong Kong. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Ip Man straight up said, "Nah fam," because Bruce was 1/4 German. The other Chinese students didn't want to train with mixed blood. The disrespect was real. Talk about main character origin story vibes. The irony? Bruce would later become the ultimate bridge between East and West. Character development at its finest. Even when he finally got accepted, Bruce was already that kid in class asking, "But why though?" Traditional Wing Chun said never cross your arms. Bruce said, "Says who?" Traditional martial arts had you practicing the same boring forms for literal decades. Bruce called it swimming on dry land. Absolute savage. He was basically the Steve Jobs of fighting, taking crusty old systems and going, "This is trash, let me fix it." When Bruce moved to America in 1959, he wasn't trying to become the next Hollywood heartthrob. My guy was studying philosophy at the University of Washington. His thesis? The Tao of Kung Fu. He argued that martial arts should be fluid and adaptable, like water, if you will. While other martial artists were stuck playing by ancient rule books, Bruce was out here inventing MMA 30 years before it was even a thing. Talk about being ahead of your time. Then came the challenge that absolutely changed the game. In 1964, this traditional kung fu master named Wong Jack Man pulled up and basically said square up. The stakes were insane. If Bruce lost, he'd have to stop teaching martial arts to non-Chinese students. If he won, he could teach whoever he wanted. Basically, this fight was about to determine if martial arts stayed gate-kept or went mainstream. Bruce won, obviously, but here's what's absolutely unhinged. He wasn't even happy about it. The fight took too long, he got winded. Any normal person would be like, W is a W. But Bruce, this perfectionist, looked at his victory and said, "This is straight garbage." He saw it as a complete system failure. The audacity of this man's standards. That's when he created Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. But calling it a martial art is like calling Einstein's theories basic math homework. JKD wasn't about fighting moves. It was about adapting to any situation, absorbing what works, yeeting what doesn't. Sound familiar? That's literally how Silicon Valley operates now. Bruce was ahead of his time by decades. This man trained like he was conducting scientific experiments. He had notebooks full of data, punch speeds, reaction times, biomechanical analysis, the whole 9 yards. He studied fencing for distance and timing, boxing for hand combinations, nunchucks for coordination, not because they looked cool in movies, but because they actually improved his performance. Everything had a purpose. Bruce was absolutely obsessed with efficiency. He calculated that his 1-inch punch generated 1,600 pounds of force. That's basically getting hit by a sledgehammer. But was Bruce satisfied? Absolutely not. This madman kept refining and perfecting everything. He treated his body like a Formula One car, constant upgrades, maximum performance. Hollywood almost fumbled the bag completely. When the Green Hornet dropped in 1966, they had Bruce playing Kato, the sidekick. The sidekick! The most revolutionary martial artist ever was playing second fiddle to some dude in a green mask. The disrespect was astronomical. But Bruce, he used it as a platform. Every fight scene was a masterclass in his philosophy.
Then came the controversy that would absolutely define everything. Bruce pitched a TV show called The Warrior to Warner Brothers. Chinese martial artist in the Old West. Fire concept. Warner loved it. Then they cast David Carradine, a white dude, as the lead, turned it into kung fu. The betrayal was real. Bruce got absolutely robbed. But did Bruce cry about it? Not, fam. He did what legends do, adapted, moved back to Hong Kong, and made The Big Boss in 1971, became a superstar overnight. But even then, this perfectionist wasn't satisfied with just being an action hero. His films were straight-up philosophical statements disguised as popcorn entertainment. Enter the Dragon wasn't just some tournament movie, it was about breaking barriers, literally and metaphorically. That famous mirror scene where Bruce fights himself? Pure philosophy in action. The enemy is within. Know yourself. Deep thoughts wrapped in flying kicks. Bruce's training routine would absolutely destroy modern athletes. Running backwards to improve footwork, 500 punches per hand daily. He basically invented cross-training before it was cool. Weightlifting, cardio, flexibility, nutrition planning. Today's UFC fighters are using the exact same approach Bruce pioneered 50 years ago. The man was a visionary. But here's the plot twist nobody sees coming. Bruce almost died making Enter the Dragon. May 10th, 1973. He collapsed during a dubbing session, brain swelling from a painkiller called Equigesic. He recovered, finished the film, everything seemed fine. 2 months later, July 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee was gone, age 32. Same cause, brain swelling from Equigesic, but the timing was sus as hell. Enter the Dragon was about to make him the biggest star on planet Earth. Some people thought it was too convenient. The conspiracy theories went absolutely unhinged. Triads killed him, Chinese government poisoned him, jealous martial artists used the death touch. But the truth is probably simpler and way sadder. Bruce pushed his body past human limits, and it finally gave out. The autopsy revealed something absolutely heartbreaking. Bruce Lee, the physical specimen who could do one-handed push-ups and sidekicks above his head, had the brain of someone twice his age. Years of intense training, stress, and possibly performance enhancers had taken their toll. But here's Bruce's real legacy. It's not the movies or the fighting skills. It's his philosophy of adaptation and constant improvement. He said, "Be like water. Water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend." In a world of rigid thinking and inflexible systems, Bruce taught us to stay fluid, stay adaptable. Today, his influence is literally everywhere. MMA fighters study his techniques religiously, tech entrepreneurs quote his philosophy in board meetings. Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own. That could be Silicon Valley's official motto, no cap. Bruce Lee died at 32, but his ideas achieved immortality. He wasn't just a martial artist who made cool movies. He was a philosopher who happened to absolutely demolish the world's expectations while teaching it to think completely differently. In a world that's changing faster than ever, maybe that's exactly the energy we need. Be like water, adapt or die, and always question everything. Even the stuff everyone else accepts as gospel truth. The dragon may be gone, but the philosophy lives forever. That's how you achieve true immortality, not through fame or money, but by changing how people think for generations. And honestly, in today's world, we need that Bruce Lee energy more than ever. Stay fluid, stay questioning, stay legendary.